So I saw how to get someone to wear their mask. So what you do is you pose as a homosexual, or you get a homosexual, either or, and you go up to someone in a store that's not wearing a mask, or anyone that's not wearing a mask, and you say, "Are you coming to the gathering tonight?" And they're like, "What gathering?" You're like, "You're coming?" And they're like, "What are you talking about?" You know? And so you're like, "Oh, sorry, it's just a thing in the gay community. When you're not wearing your mask, that means you're secretly identifying as a homosexual, and that you're gonna be a part of our group or something." And then they'll all put their mask on. That's it right there.
The gathering of the gays.
The gathering of the gays.
It's amazing what people think about gay people.
Yeah.
That only works if they're like a hardcore Republican kind of person.
And that's generally who doesn't wear it, though.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's the majority of who does not.
I got a CBS News update this week. A church leader who called the coronavirus a punishment for same-sex marriages has been hospitalized with COVID-19. So now I'm just thinking like, he comes back to church and he's like,
it was a fluke.
He was like, no, guys, and everybody's like.
He's like, it was a fluke.
Okay. I was 13, okay?
It was one time.
That's like, so I've decided I'm going to stop just saying jokes that you and I get without context and actually explain it.
Oh,
so
you think maybe that would be funny?
That would help.
I think that might help.
I almost blurted out a line that Chad would have understood, but it's actually part of a joke, like abbreviated version. There's this guy, he's like, this guy, I don't want to go into all the details, it's too long, but he was accusing his friend of eating his ice cream. And he was like, "Matt, I swear on my unborn child's life, I did not eat your ice cream." And he's like, "God forbid, 10 years from now, my wife is having complications, and then, my child passes away. Then I'm going to think, oh God, Matt thinks I ate his ice cream." and then he's like, "Hold on, Matt." He calls him Matt. He's like, "Hold on, Matt. It was a fluke. My next unborn child."
Oh, wow.
The second one.
Yeah.
So, speaking of, right before we started this, I was telling you about the coworker that could get fake Yeezys. So you said they were real. So this story also involves him. I saved this story for us. So he got injured at work. He's very frail. He weighs like 100 pounds. Okay, he's like 5 foot tall, and he hurt his back picking up like a ottoman or something stupid. And so he left work. He left work for like a year. Okay, we all thought, this guy's not coming back. Like, obviously, like none of us even thought it. None of us had an inkling in our mind that he was going to come back. So right around the time he hurt his back, he still worked for probably a month before he decided he needed to sit out. So we have lockers at work, and they're just little bitty lockers, probably like a foot by a foot. And they range from probably 7 foot tall down to the ground. And he had one at the very bottom of the ground, the last one. And I had one probably like eye level. And he's like, "Hey man," he's like, "can you switch lockers?" He's like, "My back, I cannot bend over." I was like, "Sure, man." So I do that. Then a month later, we find out that he left. And I was like, "Sweet, I'm taking my locker back." So I get my stuff, put it back in there, throw away whatever's in there. It was just a bunch of papers and stuff. And then a year goes by. This guy shows up to work in uniform. No anything. I mean, I'm sure the managers knew, but, no salesman had any clue. He just shows up. Like, "Oh, hey, man, what's up? Good to see you." And, all the warm welcomes. And, he goes back and does whatever he does with paperwork and W-2s and all that. And he comes out. He's like, "Hey, who took my locker?" And I was like, he's like, "Someone stuffs in my locker." And I was like, "What are you talking about?" And it took me a sec. I remember that a year ago, I took my locker back. He's like, "My locker, I had a jacket in there, and there were papers in there, and everything's gone. It's someone else's stuff's in there. Who took it?" And I was like, "Bro," I mean, it was my locker. I took it back. I said, "There was just a bunch of training papers in there I threw away. I didn't know where your jacket was." He's like, and just stormed off.
He's gone for a year, and he's like, "Where's my stuff?" Dude, we threw it in the trash.
A month could have gone by and I would have forgotten what was in there.
Yeah.
That's a long time.
He's like, "I had a North Face jacket in there." I was like, "I don't think you did."
So you didn't want it for a year?
Yeah. So you went through a whole winter without it.
The winter. You went through it. The winter.
So I got a different CBS News update this week. When I saw these, I just had to screenshot them.
Double CBS in one podcast.
CBS News.
CVS?
Yeah,
Oh,
that's
is
what
that-
you said.
I said CBS.
No, you
No.
said CB.
Roll the tape.
CBS News, CBS News, CBS News.
We'll see on Saturday.
Okay, whatever. Well, at first I thought that conversation was going somewhere. Anyway,
Okay, continue your CBS Pharmacy News story.
a Florida man said his wife slipped and fell in the tub, but investigators believe it was murder, and suspect a never-ending home renovation was the motive.
What?
Right? Like, so
They were
a
just
never-ending.
fighting over-
Yeah, and then he's just like, "I'm done with this. You're dead."
The funniest part is that got pushed to your phone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like you would want to know anything about
Yeah,
that.
like as if I actually care. But at the end of the day, I was kind of
Yeah.
like, maybe it's a little interesting.
Yeah.
That makes me think of something. So this is probably the most conservative thing I'll ever say on this podcast. And it's not even that bad. But I've come to the realization, and not anything to do with Trump or politics necessarily, but I've come to the conclusion that the media really is all about scaring people. And this has nothing to do with, well, I guess it's kind of coronavirus related. But they obviously live off of, their stories. I feel like I have to look up the statistics, but I think they get their best ratings from fear-based stuff. So, like, for example, the state we live in, Arkansas, they had a record high number of positive cases in 24 hours a few days ago, like 1,100. And so they shoot a headline or a notification on my phone that says Arkansas has record-breaking high number of cases in a day. And, right off the bat, you're like, oh my God, that sucks. But what they don't tell you is that we also had an enormously large record-breaking day of testing that was like, oh my God, like the highest we had before that, I think, was 7,000 tests in a day. We had like 12,000 in a day.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was, and they're always since the beginning, Governor Hutchinson said our goal is to be below 10% positive. And you test 12,000 people, you have 1,000 positive.
That's
it's less than
still
10%.
less than
I was like,
10%.
they get off on getting people afraid, man. I was like,
Well,
come
and the
on.
people going to get tests think that they're sick for a reason.
Yep.
Well, they're only allowed, you're only allowed to get a test
Yeah.
if you're showing symptoms. Right
Healthy
now.
people
That or
aren't
if you've
going
been
to
in
get
contact.
tests.
Yeah.
That's the thing.
Yeah.
Healthy
Even
people
if
aren't
you're
going to get tests.
See, I heard something different. I heard
Maybe.
that even if you were in contact, as long as you're not showing symptoms, they're not going to give you a test.
Well, there's no way they're testing 8,000 people a day all.
There's a
that
lot of
are all
places you
feeling
can go
bad.
to get one. They'll
Yeah.
just give you one. Like the Med Express by where I live, they'll just give you one.
Yeah. Really?
You just have to get an appointment. They
Okay.
come out to your car, they stick the thing in your
It's a
brain.
drive-by test.
Yeah.
Cool.
No, literally. Like they come to your car.
Yeah.
No, I have like a soapbox. I have a soapbox about the news. I mean, like
So what's a sobok?
a soapbox. My opinions
CBS.
about the news are, I think, pretty radical. I think the news is terrible for you. I think it's terrible for your brain, and I think America specifically. I'm only going to speak for America because it's the only place I've lived. I don't think we deserve to know all of the information that we have access to. I think we have proven that we are not capable of handling the
agree.
amount of access to information that we have.
I agree, because people will misconstrue it for their own gain or just totally ignore certain things.
And I have a completely different basis, fully agree. Every time since Columbine that there's been a school shooting, every day that the news has reported a school shooting, not that there's been a shooting, every day the news reports a school shooting, there's a 50% chance the next day that there will be a school shooting.
Oh, wow. Interesting.
A 50% chance, diminishing 50% every day.
Yeah.
So 2 days after the news reports it, 25%, and so on.
Yeah.
And that's not if there was a school shooting. If the news re-reports about Columbine, there's a 50% chance there will be a school
wow.
shooting the next day.
Interesting.
And
Yeah.
you can see that pattern very plainly if you look at Parkland. Was that last year? Was that 2019 or 2018?
I feel like it was last year.
I feel like that was like 2 years ago.
I can't even
feel like That was
remember.
a long time ago now.
2 years to be 2018.
It was 2018.
That's what I
because I
meant.
didn't live where I live now. If you look at that, it very clearly shows that pattern.
Yeah.
And the media is so disgusting when it comes to school shootings.
Yeah.
The first thing they say is who did it and how many people they killed.
Yeah.
Why do I need to know how many children got shot in a school?
Yeah.
What am I ever going to do with that information?
How's it going to benefit you?
And exactly, it's because they want to scare you. No, that's not scary.
They
It's
know
not
people
accurate.
like to watch
They feed
violent
off that
stuff.
Yeah.
And so they're just like, scoreboard, and they
Yeah.
throw up the scoreboard.
Yeah.
And they don't literally do it, but when you show the face of who did it, you show their name, you show how many people they killed, the first thing you're going to do is go see how many kids died at Columbine. And so
think-
you have the running
There you go.
scoreboard. They facilitate the scoreboard of dead children in your brain.
I think they want to just create the gun control debate. I think they like feeding that fire. I think that's part of it. I don't think that's the sole reason. But
I don't think they care at all. I think as long as you're watching, it doesn't
Yeah.
matter what agenda they're pushing. But right now, the gun control debate gets you to watch TV.
Yeah.
So
every time there's a gun shooting, it's always like,
That's my soapbox.
guns need to be taken away, or, I mean, that's usually it when there's a gun shooting. Like, people just jump on the train of, people don't need to have guns.
take them all away.
Yeah.
It's also interesting what
And there's another country that's done that. Sorry to interrupt, but
Australia.
Australia did that.
Yeah.
And crime went through the roof.
That's what I heard, yeah.
Once all the law-abiding citizens turned in their guns.
Yeah. Well, see, here's the thing. It's like I feel like this argument. I feel like people don't like this argument, and I get it's kind of a pain, but it's like most people that get guns the legal and right way are not a threat. Most, But if you take away the ability to get a gun legally, I feel like criminals are still gonna. We've all heard that argument. Criminals are still gonna get it. And then
Yeah.
you just have a less likely chance of
Because the
protecting
criminals
yourself.
don't usually get the gun.
Yeah, they don't go to
get the guns
Cabela's.
the legal
Yeah.
way. They don't
and-
wait the 2 weeks for a handgun.
Right.
And this is anecdotal, but almost every time you hear about a shooting like that, even like Kyle Rittenhouse, like 2 weeks ago, he didn't get that gun legally. That was his parents.
Yeah, he's
he's not
17.
old enough to get
Yeah.
a gun. Every time you hear about something like this happening, they didn't get it legally. It's the same thing with drugs. It's like we outlawed
Yeah.
drugs.
Yeah, has that stopped?
Nobody does more drugs than ever right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what's your guys' opinion on that guy, that Kyle Rittenhouse guy?
I have mixed opinions about it.
it's kind of a tough one.
I wasn't there,
We were,
so I don't know what happened.
Yeah.
And you can watch the video.
and you can watch the news.
It's
and
not
everything.
nearly good enough to tell
Right.
if what happened was self-defense.
Now there's a few
He was committing a
factors.
crime either way.
Right, I was gonna say
Yeah.
if we're gonna go off the assumption that he was gonna defending himself, he shot those people.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of like you can't win for losing kind of thing. Like he should never have been there.
Yep.
It's
Yeah.
not
Out of
his.
state.
It's not his place to be doing that, and not supposed to have the gun. But
Yeah.
at the same point, like, let's say he was 18 and it was legal, or what is it? Is it 18 or 20? I guess Minnesota's
18 to own a
probably
rifle.
different.
18 to own a
Okay,
rifle,
let's
yeah.
say he was 18. That part's then legal. He still
Let's say he was.
shouldn't have been there. It's not his job. But I think, I don't know. I don't know, man. It's tough.
Yeah, I go back and forth because those two factors. He was didn't belong there. Shouldn't have been there. I understand his intentions could be viewed as good because he was helping business owners that couldn't defend themselves. But he was also underage, not legally allowed to have the gun.
Also, though,
Took it across state lines.
Took it across
at the same time, though, if there's a dude with a rifle, stay away. Like,
I fully agree.
I told
And
you.
don't go try to
definitely-
kick him in the head.
Definitely
that
don't get
too.
in his face and say, shoot me, N-word,
Yeah,
shoot
like-
me, N-word, like the guy who got shot did.
It's like, I think people think, I would venture to say 90-something% of people wouldn't shoot someone if they could avoid it,
Yeah.
But like that
Pretty
doesn't
sure
mean
he didn't shoot until he had been attacked.
right.
already. So-
And my point is, I think people think that this guy's got a gun, but there's no way he's actually going to shoot me.
Yeah.
But then you think
There
that about
were a
the
lot
wrong
of people there
person.
with guns, and there had been for several days.
yeah, and
Yeah.
so I guess they kind of let their guards down, maybe.
See, and that's I don't own a gun. I've kind of gone back and forth with getting like a handgun and then getting like a concealed carry and stuff like that. I mean, I'd probably only ever just have it in my car and just leave it in there. But like, I feel like like with or without a gun, if somebody is attempting to hurt me or kill me personally, I will do whatever necessary to prevent them from doing that.
Yeah.
Because one, I'm not just gonna be like, yeah, you know what, do this, that's fine. Like, I'm not gonna sit there and take it. And two, if anybody's taking me out, it's me.
It's me.
Yeah, it ain't gonna be them. It ain't gonna be some punk who wants my freaking $50 in my wallet. Okay, like whatever. Like
you're like, psych.
You thought.
No, it's. I just think it's wrong. In different ways, but it's also understandable.
I feel like he's going to get off on both of the murder charges.
Yeah, I was gonna say I think he'll be charged. Underage. If there's a law about.
He's going to go to jail.
A gun across.
Yeah,
right.
yeah, he's going to jail.
Right, but he's not going to get. Whatever he would get for murder.
Yeah, right when I heard. Yeah, right whenever I heard it, I guess was it Wisconsin where they were at?
Yes.
Yeah, that sounds right.
I guess for murder, like the minimum for murder is life.
Yeah.
Without parole.
Yeah,
Like,
let's say he'll probably get like
mandatory.
I don't know. He's 17. He's gonna get tried as an adult though.
Yeah,
he might get like
sure.
5 years for underage possession of a gun.
Yeah.
Like I don't know what the typical sentences are for that kind of stuff, but it can't be that long.
No.
We live in a country where the bad guys can have guns illegally
Yeah.
under the table. So the good guys have to be able to get guns legally. Outlawing all guns will only make more bad guys get guns.
Yeah.
The same thing outlawing drugs did. And, this is another very opinionated topic, but when we have people coming into this country illegally, unprocessed, bringing whatever in, that's another thing. Outlawing guns will not keep guns from coming into this country.
Right.
Yeah.
And so if that's the case, the good guys have to have guns to protect themselves.
Yeah.
Well, if you're home and somebody breaks into your home, they have a gun. What are they going to do if you don't have a gun? Are they just going to take all of your stuff and then leave you be?
Right.
No, that's not how that's going to go. So
Unlikely.
as long as the bad guys can get guns illegally, the good guys have to be able to get guns legally.
Here's the double whammy, okay? So we're gonna outlaw guns, and we're gonna abolish the police. So everyone's on their own.
Yeah. Full
No
anarchy.
self-defense, and no one's there to help you.
Yep.
I agree. I think the system right now works because people suck.
Yeah.
And people will always suck until everything is over.
Yeah.
So we can all just say people suck. And this system is what it has to be because people suck. Or we can adhere strictly to the Constitution, which liberal people throw in conservatives' faces. They say the Constitution gives you the right to bear arms and a well-regulated militia. Okay, show me your plan for a well-regulated militia.
Yeah.
I want neighborhood access to an armory of weapons. That's what that means.
Yeah. Well, and in what was it? Was it Oregon or Washington where they took over a few blocks?
Washington.
Trying to form their own militia.
The Chaz.
Yeah, or something like that.
If that's
this
what
is
you
your
want,
right as an American.
If that's what you want, show us the plan for that, because that means more people have access to guns.
Yeah.
That means there is a gun per person in this country, and that's totally possible. There's more guns than people here.
Yeah.
So
people just like to act like they know what they're talking about, but just don't.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Is that
they're like militia. Obviously, you ever seen The Patriot?
No cap?
That's for dudes in vests and doubloons or whatever.
Doubloons.
That's like gold or something.
Doubloons is money.
Bloomers. Yeah. That's
you guys were talking about something really, really edgy?
What's that?
Racism.
Cut the tape.
No, it's. I'm not gonna go, off the deep end here.
Hey, don't go anywhere.
So kind of along the lines, I was watching, and of course it was a TikTok, and it was a black guy that has a big, huge, jacked up, blacked out truck.
Yeah.
And he was driving through some southern town, and he pulled up to a stop sign, and there were Black Lives Matter protesters just like, and they were just cussing him out, and like they couldn't see him inside the truck.
Yeah.
And they were calling him a redneck and all kinds of names. And then
it was Darius Rucker.
He heard them and he's like, "What'd you say?" And he kept on going. And he opens his door and it's this black guy that gets out of this big jacked up truck. And the guy that was yelling, he goes, "Oh, I didn't know you were black." And the dude's like, "That doesn't matter.
Yeah,
you were judging me because of my truck, because of a vehicle that I bought.
Yep.
And you assume that I am a conservative redneck." Like,
people, dude, it's.
I would also think the same thing.
To be fair, like that's not a wrong assumption. It's not the right thing to do, but it's not a wrong assumption.
Yeah,
you're correct.
It's like the whole Black Lives Matter thing. I agree with the message, but not the execution.
Absolute shit.
I agree with the message, but not the organization.
Yeah.
Because on the website, it says they want to deconstruct the nuclear family. And when there's something wrong with a man and a woman being married and living in a house and having children, what's wrong with that?
How dare you?
It's bizarre to me. Yeah. If that thing wasn't on the website and they weren't preaching Marxism, I mean that's great.
I mean,
more power to them.
Thing,
but that's just really creepy to me for some reason.
Here's my thing. I'm pretty sure. I'm gonna go on a limb here. Almost like everyone, the overwhelmingly large majority, everyone almost is against racism, and like find someone that like is like, yeah, dude, racism's cool.
I'll actually go about an hour east of here and you'll find a whole city full of
where the KKK leader lives.
But my point
is, I don't got a problem with them, but they need to stay far away from here. It's like, okay. So you have a problem with them.
So I've got an interesting story about Harrison.
We got a couple minutes.
I think, that one should run for a while.
Yeah, we're good.
So my dad used to, that one's not running right now. We have no battery in that one.
Okay. What do I do with my hand?
So my dad used to run the service department of a big heating and air conditioning company here, and they had a customer out in Harrison. He was having an issue, and he had sent a few other techs out there, and they couldn't figure it out. So he sent my dad. First time my dad had interacted with this customer, so he sent his best technician, which was a Hispanic guy, out there. And so he scheduled him. He didn't know who this guy was.
Oh no.
And so he sent him out there, and another manager comes in. He said, "Hey, who'd you send out to Harrison?" And he said, "I sent Juan," or whoever he is. Was that racist? That's not what I meant. I just wanted to put a name to the Mexican.
Juan or Jose.
His name was Kyle.
Steve.
And the other manager just freaked out. He goes, "Do you have any idea who that is?" He's like, "No, it's a customer in Harrison." And my dad, he's from Arkansas, but he was in California and other places too long to remember this stuff. And he goes, "This is the Grand Wizard of the KKK."
Nice.
And then my dad's like, "Oh crap,
Steve, get out of there."
Pull out.
Well, he went and he fixed the problem, and from that moment on, this guy only wanted this technician to come out to work on his system.
There you go.
It's like
breaking down stereotypes.
That's
how we do it.
Do I have a time to tell a story? Okay. Anyway, the other story I was going to tell. So I got a coworker. He was getting this is so funny to me, and I hope it's as funny to me as it is to y'all.
Is it?
So, you want me to say his name? Barry. So he was getting a quote done for his roof. He was getting some roofing done. And so this guy comes out there, and he's telling him all the details, giving him the price and all this kind of stuff. And he's like, I'm looking at the camera for this one. I'm looking at this one. He's like, "Oh yeah, they're gonna come out here and do some work, and they can come fix you up real good. Now they're Mexican, and they do a good job." Like, he stopped to make sure it was like okay that they were Mexican. He was like, "They're Mexican, but they do a good job."
So okay.
That cracked me up, dude.
The worker for the company said that?
Yes, I was like, who says that? I was like, how
Why would you qualify that?
So there was before moving into this house, we were renting just down the road, and the owner of the house had a maintenance guy that came in and he would repair stuff. He did the remodel in the house. And we got to talking one day because I guess his company was looking for a heating and air conditioning company to start working with. And he said that they had a bunch of installs. And so I said, yeah, we've got a crew that, I mean, we do pretty good work. I was trying to sell us way better than I am right now. But and he turns around, he's like, all right, he took my business card, and then he goes, they all speak English, right? I'm like,
Speaking the English.
I'm like, yeah.
Broken
And
English.
at the time, we did have a Hispanic guy working for us, but he wasn't born here. He was pretty American, but he said, yeah, because I've had some that don't, and they don't do great work, and I'm like, okay, I'm not doing any work for you guys.
Hispanic people arguably do the best work. Like
They
no
work
kidding,
really
bro.
hard.
I feel like that guy is one of those guys who goes to a Mexican restaurant. And he's like grassy ass.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's, especially here,
He goes to Las Palmas. You guys got a white server? He's like,
don't got any Americans here. This is the worst.
we might be the lowest viewed channel on YouTube.
That's not
That's
true.
not
That
true.
is
Yeah.
not true at all.
We have a consistent viewer base on every video, and I'll take that. I'll take that.
No, consistency is good. Yes.
11 views on every video at least.
on average.
We released, I don't know if it was this past one or the one before that. 2 days later, I saw it, said no views.
Oh.
No.
Well,
I don't think
wasn't
that was right.
No, that was.
Did you watch last week's?
The one where I wasn't here?
Yeah.
I listened to the first half hour of it.
You need to finish it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Chad texted me, he's like, I
Did
need
you
this
guys
description.
watch it?
Our most recent one has
That's your
6
job.
views.
Chad-
Or 3 views.
Oh.
So that is kind of low.
Come on, guys. Come on.
I mean, our average view duration is 10.5 minutes.
hey.
That's insanely
Very
long.
good. Yeah.
It's really long.
Yeah, previous period was 8:11. So
Ash started a YouTube channel.
yeah, we know. We've seen you advertising it.
Yeah.
So what is
not advertising
and not
us, but go ahead.
advertising the
what
podcast,
is
but go
our,
ahead.
which I can't, we'll
Okay,
talk about
go
it later.
ahead.
We'll talk about it later. What is our channel's total views
Total views?
over the,
I saw she got 300 views on that first video.
I was going to say, in 2 videos, she's got more views than R6 does in her
Yeah.
first
Okay.
video.
Oh, yeah.
Okay,
Probably.
time out. Couple things. First off,
She's a chick.
I'm gonna answer my question with the second part, but the first part is how. There's no way those can be that interesting.
It's a bigger-
in the
bigger-
most
bigger-
unrude way possible.
There's
2,
a bigger-
because she's a hot female, and that is why.
There's a bigger...
I'm sorry. That is
what's the
very
word?
rude.
So
Viewer base.
yeah, viewer
Yeah.
base is bigger for those kinds
Yeah.
of videos.
We have
so-
a total
so two
views
things.
of 160.
Nice.
Shorter videos. She's a girl.
Yeah, shorter. I
Well,
was gonna say
and who's at home watching videos right now?
women,
Moms.
moms. Yeah, that's what she's going for.
Yeah.
So it's understandable. Dude, don't ever talk about it like
Strike
that
while the
again.
iron's hot, baby.
So get this. Whenever we I work at a church. I'm a video producer. I manage the video content that goes out. Not all of it. There's some
That go out that are trash.
There's some analytics I don't have access to. On Vimeo, our main platform, we don't have a YouTube channel or anything. We get 13,000 views a month at the least. And we put out a collaborative music video that was every church leader in Northwest Arkansas sang a part or did an instrument for this song.
Not me.
We put it out and it got pretty good views. I want to say 20 or 40,000 views. We put out another video 3 weeks later, and our social media person, I don't want to dox anybody, our social media person sent it to her dad. And her dad sent it on an email list for every distributor for the certain product that he works for. That video has 1 million views.
Wow.
So
don't do that for us, bro.
person to person sharing
Yeah.
is really vital for those kinds of videos.
That's the thing. I've read if you're trying to get your YouTube views up and take off certain things, you need to get with someone that is already either big or has access to a lot of things like that.
Yep.
And unfortunately,
Our band's YouTube channel, We're at like just over 600.
Why don't you advertise on
subs.
your band page?
Because we don't have that much. I mean, we got more than this, but
No,
we've got
like
like
your Instagram.
On our band Instagram, what's that have to do with our band? I mean, other than the fact that I guess two
It's
of us are
us.
in it, but
I mean, we could
It has a
do-
lot to do with your band.
half of the
Over half of the band is on a podcast. And you're like, what do we have to
How
do
many
with that?
followers y'all got? Y'all got like a few tens of thousands.
We got you
tens
got
of thousands. We have like 10
11 or
point,
12,000,
Yeah,
yeah.
something.
Hey, dude, that's like
We'll try it.
10 times as much as the most of us.
I'll share it on my Star Wars Battlefront 2 Facebook page that has 40,000 followers.
Dude, guess how many views my most viewed YouTube video has? We've talked about this. Or I've talked
Oh, is
about
it your
this
music video?
a lot.
No.
more.
Oh, it's your Halo one.
No.
Oh,
I made a tutorial about how to record gameplay. This was back, when it was. I made a tutorial about how to record
Tutorial.
gameplay without a capture card. Back when you need
CVS.
like a capture card and all that. 225,000.
Nice.
Wow.
Yeah.
yeah. Where's the money
Dude,
for
okay.
that?
I made a video
Speaking
for
of old
the
stuff.
Razorbacks one time that got like 700 views. That was crazy. I had a buddy in college.
700?
Yeah.
Okay.
That was nuts.
No, like I didn't advertise it at all.
Yeah.
People
Oh, wow.
searched Razorback
yeah.
hype video. I didn't have any tags on it.
Oh, okay. So my uncle filmed our wedding.
Yeah.
And surprisingly, that has like over 500
Here's a real
views.
question: is what we're talking
Yeah.
about interesting on a podcast?
That's what I'm also
Yeah,
thinking.
definitely.
Nobody cares
Yes.
except for us about
Well,
what
we're past the
talking
10-minute mark, so it doesn't matter.
It
at this
doesn't
point.
matter.
no
one's
one will be
listening.
hearing this.
I had a buddy in
Okay.
college, my buddy Hugh, he made a YouTube tutorial when he was 13 about how to split an apple in half with your hands. Has like 400,000 views.
So I've got an old YouTube channel. I don't even have access to it. There is an 8.5-minute video of me getting my left ear pierced by my mom.
8.5
no.
minutes.
It's got 490 views on it.
Oh, I thought
It
there was
was like-
1,000
no,
coming after
no,
that.
no, no.
I was like, whoa.
That's a lot, though.
But it's still, yes.
That's
this
a lot.
was 11 years ago, and it's got close to 500 views.
This was a topic I wanted to talk about because I just brought it up and it made me remember it. When I was 11 years old, I made a Star Wars Battlefront 2 fan page on Facebook.
Okay.
And it absolutely blew up.
Really?
This was before corporate, people were on social media.
Okay.
So all I did for this page, I made 3 posts on the page. The banner was the Star Wars Battlefront 2 cover, and so was the profile picture. And everybody was like, this is the real one. And so
snap.
to this day, the follows have just gone down since like 2013, I think.
Yeah.
It still has like 38,000 followers.
Really?
I think the most it had was 42,000. But you can send a message to it. Imagine the unfiltered messages I get from 42,000 international Star Wars Battlefront 2 fans. I have a folder of them on my
Nice.
desktop.
Dude.
And if I can find it,
Print some of those out and bring them in.
I'll put them up here. But my favorite one ever, is this little kid from Brazil.
This is awesome already.
I could see his profile. It's just this kid. He's like,
So, real quick. What was the content of this page? Just gameplay?
I just made some posts. It's just a 13-year-old talking about Star Wars because that's how old I was.
Okay, continue.
And people, you could share to it, so people would upload their videos.
Okay.
But if they wouldn't get promoted, you had to go to the page. The posts I posted would go to their page like a friend. Anyway, this post from this little kid from Brazil, it just says, Star Wars.
Yes. Oh, so
That's the message he took the time out of his day to send me.
dude. So with our band being called Theody, apparently that's a popular name in like the Philippines and that area of the world. So we've got messages on our band page of like family pictures. Like they're sending them to someone named Theody, but they found us and they sent us family pictures of a family reunion and a cookout and stuff. I'm like,
There we are, right there. That's us.
It's like all those poor girls who like got in Instagram early and their name is like babe or
Yeah.
girl.
Yeah.
And all those girls that like tag their friends as babe or girl, they're
Yeah.
just tagged
Hashtag,
in millions
yeah.
of photos.
yes. Well, so this kind of leads into something that I'm pretty pissed off about Facebook, and it's affecting bands. They're enacting a new like rule as of October 1st, where And the reasoning they say is they want people to be able to enjoy videos from friends and family. So any videos that are posted that create a music listening experience are subject to be blocked, and the page that posted them will be deleted
Based on copyright, right?
It doesn't say anything about copyright.
Oh,
It says because we want videos to be enjoyed by friends and family.
What's this on Facebook?
Yeah. So bands that post our music videos, because that's the only place that one of the only places that we can get to our fans.
Yeah.
If we post our music video, it can be because it's already copyrighted. Like we get paid by Facebook and we get paid by YouTube.
Yeah.
So I don't think it's a copyright thing. It's just them being dicks.
Wow.
And
So
so we're at risk of having our Facebook page deleted if we post any new music.
That's brutal.
What's the guy who owns Facebook? What's his name?
Zuckerberg.
Yeah, that guy's an alien, right?
It looks
That
like
dude's 100. Yeah, have you seen a picture of him surfing?
Progression?
Yes, dude.
I haven't
What
seen
is that? He looks like that. He looks like that
Yo,
dude.
put it up. Put it up.
But I'll put it up. It's easy to find.
He looks like that dude. You know that old like creepy pasta about the kid who caught on fire or whatever, and his face is all white. You know what you follow me?
It's one of the first hits
Oh
on
my
Google.
god, dude! I've never
I'm looking
seen
it
this.
up now.
You know what I'm talking about?
Whoa! What?
You follow me?
Yeah, Jack the Killer.
Is that what that is?
Yeah, Jack the Killer.
Hold on.
You guys seen his eyes like in the Congress meeting thing where his eyes like
Yeah.
maybe he's freaking dude.
He was
QAnon is
really
onto something,
nervous
bro.
in that. He was really nervous in the Congress
he
meeting.
looks like that.
He does. He does.
Which is an
man.
old like
Camera.
creepy pasta thing.
Did you ever read that?
I'm pretty sure we've all read it at some
I
point.
went through a phase. Oh, you remember? Were you there that night? Tanner Mackey came to your house and read creepypasta.
Was I there? No, I probably wasn't there. It was my house. Yes.
Oh, What? No, what? I was asking. Was that your house or was that Cody's house?
that sounds like it could have been mine.
Okay.
It was probably his. 'cause
You
it was
were
on
friends
Drumline.
with him for a while, like good friends.
They were on Drumline. It was probably Chad's house.
It was probably
Okay.
mine. Yeah.
I feel like he went to Cody's house one time too, but I can't remember for the life of me.
Anyway, but yeah, we used to read those all the time.
Oh, he
This
read.
is after my time, apparently.
Yeah, there was a big
Creepypasta?
phase on the internet where people would just write scary stories that were like super meta,
Okay.
and they just got shared. It's called creepypasta because they would say copy pasta, like copy paste. That was like a funny thing somebody said that people would paste in response to something relevant. So
Okay.
creepypasta was like the scary story equivalent of that.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah.
Man, I'm surprised you remember the name of that story. I wouldn't have remembered it.
Oh, dude. I remember a
I've
lot of
never
those.
read
I
that
remember
one.
those. I remember the one about the stalker. There were like a bunch of them. One was called Balloons. I remember that one. The one we
remember-
read that night was called Psychosis. That one was creepy.
Was that the one about the dude who was paranoid, thinking that everybody was becoming like a robot or something?
But in the end, he gouges his eyes out, and he can't tell that everybody is robots actually, because it's their eyes.
Yeah.
And so by gouging his eyes out, he saved himself from becoming a robot, but will never know that everybody actually is a robot. It's like the ultimate irony.
That is weird. So I got something to say. Oh, Chad, you got something?
Nah,
It's
nah.
unrelated.
Creepypasta?
Well, yeah, I was gonna say there was another one I remember about the dude who goes through there's like 10 different like rooms he has to go through.
No
to get
End
all
House.
This, yeah.
Yeah.
And then he finally gets spoiler alert. He gets through it. He gets this huge thing of money for doing it, and then he gets to his house, and his door just says 11, like the next door, like he never actually made it.
Well,
out.
his house number is
wow.
11, and the last one was 10.
Yeah.
And so he goes in not realizing that his house is a
Gotcha.
continuation of the next room. They made a TV show about that. There's a TV show about No End House. I don't know if it's good. It's online though.
Probably not, but
Probably
continue.
not.
What were you saying, Evan?
Oh, I was just gonna say, like you said, this is unrelated. So
okay.
this is you said like you made your banner thing or whatever for your Facebook page, so it
Yeah.
looked like it was a legitimate, thing.
Yeah.
I was just gonna say that one time I posted a box for an iPad for sale. The box that came in, and people didn't read the description. That was just the box, and they started bidding like hundreds of dollars for it. And I felt bad, and I took it off before it would end. I was like, man,
sold it.
just gonna
Should've.
send them an empty box for $350.
So whenever I was in grade school, like the books that were being passed around, kind of along those lines was scary stories to
Tell in the Dark.
You Tell
in the Dark.
Yeah,
It's the
'cause
books.
they just made a movie about it.
Yeah, I
How was
haven't seen
that?
the movie.
I've heard it's good.
Okay. I might
There's
have
a
to watch
channel I
it,
watch called
so-
Kill Count where he
Okay.
Yes.
he does like analytics for all the horror movies. So
Yeah.
I've seen it through that channel,
Yeah.
but
So the only one that I really remember vividly is a story about like these kids playing in a cemetery, and there was something about the dead people coming alive or someone being buried alive. I can't remember, but they were playing hide and seek, and this girl runs around and she feels something grab her leg and she falls, and she ends up like dying from fright, but all it was her tripping over her dress.
Nice.
Yeah.
I remember one out of that.
So I
which
never
was,
wear dresses.
that ended it for you.
That ended it for me.
That totally turned off the whole dress
that's
thing
when I
to me.
stopped wearing. I was 18.
I remember the one where it's this couple. They're in a car, like parked somewhere, and so they were hearing on the radio about an escaped convict who has a hook or something, and
Can I look something up on your phone?
And then they're like, the girl keeps saying she hears something at her door, so they leave, and then they get home, and then they see a hook was on like her
Hold
door
on.
or whatever.
I gotta read you a version of that.
Please tell me this is gonna be gold.
It's gold.
And are we talking about the hash slinging slasher?
Slinging slasher.
That's what Hassling and Slasher is based off of.
Oh, is it really?
Yeah, I'm gonna read you guys that scary story written by somebody who doesn't know English.
Oh, this is gonna be great. Okay.
Man and girl go out to drive under moonlight. They stop and at a side of a road. He turned to his girl and say, "Baby, I love you very much." "What is it, honey?" "Our car is broken down. I think the engine is broken. I'll walk and get some more fuel." "Okay, I'll stay here and look after our stereo. There have been news report of stereos being stolen."
Sterries.
"Good idea. I'll keep the doors locked, and no matter what, I love you, sweaty." So the guy left to get full for the car.
Don't spit on me.
After 2 hours, the girl say, "Where is my baby? He is supposed to be back by now." The girl hear a scratching sound and a voice say, "Let me in." The girl doesn't do it, and then after a while, she goes to sleep. The next morning, she wakes up and finds her boyfriend still not there. She gets out to check, and man door hand hook car door.
All right.
The end.
The end? Nice. All right. That's great.
Man hand hook car door.
Man door hand hook car door.
Man door, hand hook, car door. All right.
That's awesome.
Perfect.
I've always wanted to. I've seen other videos of guys doing this. Made me think of this. Is whenever you get those like scammers, you know, they're in like freaking Guadalajara or something, and they're
Dude,
sending
is your
you
window
messages.
open?
No, they're just
No, they're
it's
very,
loud.
very thin.
Guadalajara
This has
scammers.
never happened before.
The Nigerian scammers or whatever.
In Nigerian scammers in Guadalajara.
They're all Indian. You can say it.
Whatever. And they message you, and it's kind of a little bit broken up or whatever like that. Whenever they're like you're selling something on Craigslist or whatever. I've always wanted to, I've seen other videos of people trying to do it, but I've always wanted to try and scam them instead. But like I've gotten into a conversation one time with this dude. And
Say, look, man, I'll wire you the money. What's your bank account number?
Yeah, well, it's like, and I've always tried to get something like out of them, but I've never like fully accomplished the mission. Because what happens is they just like once they see you're not going for it, they just lose interest and just forget about you.
Have you seen? There's a video. You might have seen it. It's on Reddit. It's like top videos. Like if you go to the video subreddit and go to top of all time, it's like one of the ones towards the top.
Yeah.
This guy is getting one of the like the IRS scams. Like, oh, you owe $2,500.
Do you have sunglasses on?
I don't know. It's like a video.
Okay.
It's a screen recording kind of thing, and it has captions on there. And he gives you the kind of background like that phone call.
Oh, I know what you're talking about.
And then he programs it to call them infinitely back, all like that
Nice.
number, and it plays like it comes from a different number, like it shows it's a different number calling, but it plays the same automated message, and it just keeps on and keeps on, and then in the background you start hearing it's a bunch of Indian guys. You start hearing in the background like their phones going off all over the place, and everyone's like, "What's going on?" Like, they're just like screaming.
Nice.
My favorite thing about those scams is like the dude's like, Yes, my name is Steven.
Yeah.
Like, my name is
clearly not.
My name is
Steven.
Joshua.
I was kind of notorious for like calling them back and like messing with them for a while. Me and JT would kind of gang up on these guys.
JT, yeah, I know he did that.
And the best one I ever got was, I feel okay saying anything to these people because the point of what they're doing is to
they're
trick,
trying to take your money.
trick old people who
Yeah.
don't know better into sending them thousands of dollars.
Yeah.
I feel like you can say anything to these people. So this lady called me and I didn't answer. I called back. I'm like, and I'm doing like an old lady voice. I'm like, hello. And she's like, hello, ma'am. This is the car warranty service. We're calling about your car warranty. And I was like, is this Susan? And she's like, yes, ma'am, this is Susan. I was like, this is Susan? And she's like, yes. I was like, oh, I was wondering when you would call me back, Susan. She's like, yes, ma'am, we're calling about your car warranty. And I was like, are you sure this is Susan? And she's like, yes, ma'am. And I was like, no, you're not. You're a dirty liar. And I just hung up. I just love
Is it
messing with
Susan?
them.
Like, yes, it was Susan. Oh, I was expecting Elizabeth.
I just want them to
no,
know.
I'm Elizabeth. That's my middle name.
I just want them to know we're not that dumb.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Whenever I get the car warranty one, I always tell them I get them on the phone and I try and get them on there for absolutely just as long as possible. Like however much time I can waste of theirs is time gained by me personally.
There's a guy whose whole Twitch channel is literally that.
And I love it.
He's kept people on for over 48 hours.
Oh my god.
That is amazing.
They just
What?
bounce him from caller to caller, and he keeps being like, he'll play sound effects like he's in the car, like driving to Walgreens to get Google Play cards to like send him the codes for. Anyway,
That's awesome.
So, like I got this one. Like usually, I tell them, you know, I'm at least gonna be a little more like glamorous. So whenever they're like, yeah, what's the year, make and model of the car? I'm like, I have a 2012 Jaguar F-Type. Not the case.
I've got a Rolls Royce Ghost.
Well, see, I did try a Lamborghini one time, but they were like, oh, we can't do that one. No, do you have a different car?
You're like, oh yeah, I have my 2002 Honda Civic. Yeah.
So, yeah, I also have that one. So yeah, I just try and keep them on the phone as long as possible, just waste their time because they can freaking jump off a cliff. So, I got to the point where they're describing everything to me that their warranty will cover. And me being a car person, I don't work on cars, but I relatively understand a good bit about cars. I knew nothing with them, okay? Like, he was like, yeah, it covers the suspension. I was like, what on the suspension? And he's like, this, and this, and this. And I'm like, what are those? What do they do? Like, I just go
You're
on
like,
and
man,
on.
This sounds like a real good
Yeah,
idea.
I just go on and on until he was like, all right, you ready to get that? Like, I can take your credit card information over the phone and stuff like that. I was like, nah, and then I just hung up. And it was about a 30-minute conversation.
nice.
Yeah, I mean, let me
doing
tell
the
you, like,
Lord's work, man.
the amount
Say-
of frustration
say my
I
blinkers.
would have had if I was them, like, would have been through the roof.
Say, does
Yeah.
it cover my blinkers? They're like, yes, sir. It
Does it
covers
cover
the
the
blinkers.
blinker fluid?
You've got yourself a deal.
Sold.
They'll tell you anything to get your
Oh
money.
yeah, absolutely.
Like, just ask them for the most unreasonable thing.
They're
and
like,
they'll be
I
like,
have
yes,
this,
yes,
like, I have this thing where the USB port in my car like fries my iPhones like, you know, every 2 months. Is that something you can cover? Like, oh yeah, totally.
Unlimited iPhones? Oh, okay, yeah. $20? Yeah.
Listen, I will do this if you'll send me a free iPhone. Like, you got it.
Yeah. But yeah, I've always wanted to attempt to Nigerian scam the Nigerian scammer. But
Nigerian scam. Say that's
They're,
my
they're
cousin's
usually
a prince.
too savvy now. They're too savvy.
coincidentally, like,
And he needs money like right now.
yeah.
Charlie had a topic he wanted to talk about. He told me earlier.
Yeah. Do you guys have any like awkward situation stories?
There was that one time I pooped in a hotel lobby.
Did you tell us about that already though?
Yes, we had a whole episode about
Yeah,
it.
you're right. I guess that worked.
Yo,
but
That was the
more of
one
a-
where I
that
broke
was
the
more-
chair, dude. 'Cause it was so funny.
Bro, I boo-booed.
And that's when we wish we had video. Okay, not involving poop. Any other awkward? Because it's always awkward with poop. But any other awkward situation stories?
I mean, my life's filled with them, dude.
I have one.
So-
I definitely can't tell it.
I have a small one.
Okay.
So, the first time I went to go out and meet what is now an ex-girlfriend of mine, I met at this bar, and there was a person. So
Is it girl?
Yes. Why? Yeah, I was trying not to say that. I'm trying to tell.
I'll censor it. I'll just censor it.
This guy.
That's all you gotta say, man.
This guy. Every time I'm trying to tell a story. So, I go in there, and I walk in, and the first. So I see somebody that looked from behind, like the hair and stuff, the exact same person.
This is awesome.
And they were sitting at the bar. So I walked up and I was like, it's like super minor, but I'm laughing. I walked up and I'm at the bar and there was a bartender right there, and I go, hey, and then I kind of turn around. Yeah, I'll take a. I played it off super well. They had no idea I was talking to them. But like,
the bartender was the bartender right there.
Yeah, and
hey. It's like when he was talking about his ex at the coffee shop. He was like, just like about to sit
Table
down.
door. Okay, I've got one. That I can't remember if I told it. I told it really recently about the girl at camp.
Not here. You didn't.
Okay. All right. This was this got brought up because during quarantine, me and JT were on Discord. We were looking at our old Facebook photos. I saw a picture from camp of me and this girl in the same photo, and it was literally like when you remember something horrible happened to you when you were a kid. I was like 14 probably, but it was like so I went to camp. I was like 14. There was like this cute emo girl, and that was back when like that was like a cool thing.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, there's like this cool girl here.
She's so hard.
And so, so I like went out of my way at every opportunity to like interact with this girl, but in none of the right ways, right? So I to this day I don't know her name. But at Camp War Eagle there was a Western night.
Oh,
yes.
And this year there was an absolute heat wave level, like drought. It was like 107 during the day. It was so hot. They have water coolers everywhere at camp. They filled them with Gatorade just to coax us into drinking. It was that hot.
Yeah.
And so Western night, everybody's wearing jeans. We're all drenched in sweat. I can't remember exactly what I was wearing, but I was slick like a dolphin, bro. I was like I came out of the water, dude. And so this girl, we were in the second oldest cabin, and the second oldest cabin does a line dance. So you're in a line, you do a dance, you face each other, and I'm like, I'm gonna get across from the emo girl.
where you're like, and they're like,
I literally counted, and she was like, I was next to my friend, she was next to her friend. I switched places with my friend. I was like, and he was like, okay. And I'm still friends with that guy on Facebook because of this. I was like, yeah, I owe you everything. But so we line dance, and I'm like, and she's smiling, and I'm like having a good time, and then it comes to the part where you go to the middle and you lock arms and you go
do-si-do.
you go in a circle, and we go, and I'm like, I lock arms, I'm like, and we go in a circle, and I get back to my spot on the other side, and my friend gets my spot back to his spot. And I turn around in time to see her go like this. And then she grabs her friend and switches. And I was like,
deflated, dude.
Hey, you take your W's where you can get them, right?
I wanted to die.
Take your L's with
immediately.
dignity.
You're like, I am so sorry. Man.
But then I was also like, she wasn't sweaty. And then I was like,
Yeah.
who isn't sweaty?
Like, what's wrong with you?
Emo chicks. They never
It's
get
your
sweaty.
problem.
Yeah.
So, the only man, I can't beat both y'all's, man. That's pretty good. But man, I feel so ashamed to tell this because it's not near as funny as y'all's. But it can be told in like
Content's
30
content,
30
baby.
seconds. So like, there was this girl. So I moved to Arkansas from Louisiana. And when I was younger, I'd go visit my grandparents who still lived in Louisiana, and I'd go to their church. They would take me sometimes. And there's this girl there. I'd always see her every year, every 6 months, every year when I went down there. And I always thought she was cute. And So like they had it was a pretty good sized church, and after church, everyone would hang out and talk. And she was talking like with her like girlfriends or whatever, like on one side of the church. And so I do my whole predatory stalking thing, and I peek around
Pounce and Puma.
I peek around the corner, and there they are, dude. Keep in mind, not one word was ever said to this woman ever. This girl, not one word was exchanged between us ever. I just liked her. I thought she was cute. That's it. And I was like, man, they're around the corner. Okay. I was like, it'd be super cool if I just sprinted past them as fast as I could. So what do? In dress slacks, a button up, and loafers, sprinting around the corner, dude, as fast as I can. Just run right past them, dude. Don't look at them.
You want real
I don't look at them,
speed.
dude. I'm just running, dude. And then I get around the corner. I was like, oh, that was awesome.
How old were you?
Like 10, 11, 12.
Yes.
Something like that. Now, the best part of it all is by the time I turned 18 and my grandfather passed away, I had to go down there for the funeral, and she was at the church, and then she ended up liking me. So I was like, mission accomplished, obviously.
Yeah, clearly
It's because I ran
the
fast.
running thing
Sprint.
worked.
Remember that time I ran so fast past you, you didn't even see me?
And she was like, "That's when I know."
I was like, that was you. All right, Charlie, top us off.
I don't know. Okay, this has nothing to do with a girl.
That was
well,
you.
no, it has something to do with some girls. So I know Chad knows this story, I think.
Yeah, I've heard it before.
I want to say it was like 17,
Oof.
18 maybe.
Oof.
My uncle was a truck driver, and there for a little bit, whenever he was off, he would come to our place, park his truck in our house, in our driveway, and hang out. And one night we were talking, we were like, oh, it'd be cool. I had never seen it. We wanted to watch Monty Python in the Search of the Holy Grail. And my uncle's like, oh, I've got it out in my truck. Just run out there and get it. So I go out there, find the DVD case, grab it, go back inside, and then I set it up there. And then they tell me, well, we were in the middle of watching something else, and it ended. And they're like, well, why don't you go put it in? So I stand up, I go, and I open it up, and it's not Monty Python and the Search of the Holy Grail. I close it and set it back on the shelf, and I sit down. And I said, no. and my mom's like, put it in. Like, we want to watch this movie. I'm like, no. My uncle needs to put it in. and he's like, no, put it in. And like, he started cussing at me. He's like, put
Dude,
the
your
DVD
dad?
in. No, my uncle.
Oh.
He's like, put the DVD in. I'm like, no, you do it. And so he got up and he opened it. He goes, oh,
We can.
I'll be right back. It was
It was Monty's Python.
It was definitely an adult video. And it was like I couldn't say that. Like, it was awkward. Like, I had two little sisters. I definitely knew what it was.
Yeah.
And I was like
Uncle Phil coming right now.
Yeah. No, you need to see what it is.
No. Monty's
And,
Python.
like, he opens it and he closes it and he just walks outside and he tries to find the right.
He's like, oh, that's
Wow.
not Monty Python.
So, I don't know why I'm thinking about this, but have you guys ever had your dad be like,
Gay. If so, yes.
that caught him so out of off guard?
If that's the question, the answer is yes.
You got beer coming out of your nose?
I hope all 4 people listening to this at least understand the reference.
I feel like that's like from that movie where the dude's trying to finish the girl's sentences. She's like, I'm gonna go take a dump.
Take a dump. Yeah, that's Employee of the Month. I love that movie.
So, no, I was gonna ask, have you ever seen your dad like be like an aggressive guy, like
No.
for any reason?
Absolutely
No,
not.
not my dad.
For any reason?
Well, for like let's say there's somebody who's
Again.
being like a douchebag out in public.
No.
Yes.
Well, see, I know you probably have with your dad, but you guys haven't.
No.
Dude, do you know my dad?
You met my dad?
Well, see, that's the thing.
Mine's gay, dude.
Would you ever expect my dad to do something like that?
I could see it happening, but I wouldn't expect it.
I've never seen it ever happen, but one time.
What did it involve?
So
Music?
no, so we were
could see
driving in Texas, and we were following my sister to a Walmart. My dad was driving. My brother and I were in the car, We were heading to Walmart. We were following them. She takes like a little like exit really quick, and my dad just has to take it. And he had to kind of cut a dude off a little bit. It wasn't that bad. Like, I mean, he definitely cut him off, but it wasn't like there's no way the guy was like, like, you know, like, so the dude.
What was it like?
You know when you see it.
Okay.
Roll tape. Like, you know, like, you know, like, you know. So, so the dude like honks at us or whatever like that. My dad's just like, whatever. Like, so we get to the Walmart, and my brother steps out of the car, and but my dad are still in there for a second, and the dude rolls up and he sees my brother, and this dude, this old, very small man, like maybe 5'8", just a sack of bones, rolls up and starts like yelling at my brother, like screaming at him, whatever like that. I mean, I was probably in like 7th or 8th grade.
Okay, so Marty was okay.
So Marty was big.
He was in high school.
Yeah, and so this dude's like yelling at him or whatever like that, and I get out of the car, and then my dad gets out of the car. So 3 pretty large dudes are getting out of the car. His voice and tone changed a little bit, but I have to say he stood his ground all right. And we're all kind of like, what's happening here? And so, long story short, the dude's still like yelling at all of us. My sister and all of them are out of the car, and we're all kind of like looking around. And I forget, it's one of those things that's like, it was kind of so long ago, I can't remember exactly what was said from this dude. Thanks for that. And
sorry.
But like, I remember, and you know, my dad being like the Christian counselor, super level-headed, you know, like this is the only time I've ever seen him ever be like an aggressive dude.
Yeah.
The dude said something like to my brother, whatever like that, like while they were like exchanging like at the window, and my dad was like hit his like truck with his hand and was like, just get out of here or something like that. And the dude was like, you hit my truck. And then it's one of those things, it's like, this was like the 80s one-liner where he goes, and my dad just goes, so the dude's like, you hit my truck. And my dad goes, you're lucky I didn't hit you. Like, and I was like, James Wonderly. I'm sure he wouldn't appreciate me telling this story, but it was one of those things, like, out of tons of things that have happened in my life, this like stuck out.
I know you don't remember, but like, what was along the lines of you said to your brother?
I can't remember. I mean, it was one of those things. This dude was old. Like, honestly, like at the time, I only understood every other word.
Like maybe it's something all the Wonderly brothers are sensitive about. He's like, oh man, titties, and your dad's like, hey.
So, the most recent one, and I was kind of involved. It was just like 2 or 3 years ago. We were working at an apartment complex, and this apartment complex is like the maintenance and everything is managed by a property management company. So the tenants, they put in a work order, say, hey, my air conditioner's not working. They send that to us with all the tenants' information, and so we call them to schedule the call. And so we had tried, this guy put in a work order, so we were trying to call and schedule it, and he would never respond. Like, we called him for 3 or 4 days in a row, never responded. We ended up having like 2 or 3 other calls at that same apartment complex, so we decided, like, while we're there, we're going to try to check out this guy's unit. My dad goes and knock on the door, no answer, so he bangs louder. This dude rips open the door. He's like 6-8 inches taller than my dad. I mean, and my dad, he's like 5'8", so he's not huge. But my dad also has one leg. So there's not much.
He lost a foot.
There's not much he's going to do, but he's in this doorway, like, and this guy, he's like, you knock on my door one more time. My dad's like, you put in a work order for your air conditioner. It's hot in there, right? He's like, yeah, but management's supposed to give us 24 hours notice, and like he keeps on going, and like he's like right in my dad's face, and he's like, we've been trying to call you for like 3 days. He goes, you know what? He goes, you talk to me like that one more time. My dad's like, what are you gonna do about it? He goes, don't you see the size? I'm like, my dad's like, so? Like, my dad's not standing down.
Yeah.
And he's got 2 of us that, I'm bigger than my dad, and we had another employee that were bigger. Like, we were standing right behind him. Like, I'm gonna have to throw down with this guy.
Dad,
stop! Stop!
I have weak arms.
Hold this. Yeah, I'm like, stop! I was like,
no. It would be like the dude's like, what are you gonna do? And then your dad's like, Charlie.
Charlie, fight this guy.
Charlie looks up.
What's the most 80s one-liner thing you've ever done?
I feel like, dude, I'd say mine was probably it's not 80s one-liner. The only cool thing I can think of that's
Like that.
cool is when that dude was moshing on me. And I threatened him. That's the only thing I can think of.
Oh my gosh, that reminds me. This is another related awkward moment. Okay, we were at Bring Me the Horizon with JT and Cody and my dad. It was like the first time we went.
And Chad?
Yeah, and Chad.
Okay.
This was Nuclear Blast Chad night. That photo is still undiscovered.
I know.
It's on
tried looking for
Facebook somewhere. And we're like at this pillar. There's this pillar in the door in Dallas. They have two pillars in the middle of the standing room only area, which is like a weird place to be. Mm-hmm. So we're at the right pillar. That's just where we stand when we go to the door in Dallas, because that's a thing we do. And so
It wasn't the door, it was Southside Ballroom.
oh, Southside. Yeah,
Southside.
the door's closed.
Same city,
Same
different
place
venue.
we went to.
Yes.
MTH.
Same-
Yeah,
same
the
venue.
door's the one that closed. That O Sleeper played the last show at. Anyway, and these girls come up. I'm next to JT. I think you're behind me. These girls come up and they're like 4 feet tall, and they're like, they look at JT. They're like, "Hey, can you watch our friend? Because we're gonna go in the mosh pit." And this girl's like the shortest of all of them. Maybe 75 pounds, seriously. And they're all easily in their 20s. They're just microscopic girls. And so JT's like, literally looks them dead in the eyes, just like, no. Like, this is a concert. I think Under Oath was playing. I mean, it was a hardcore show.
Oh, yeah.
And so these girls go in, and this girl just kind of like stands there. And so I grab her shoulders, and I just move her in between me and JT, like right behind me.
You sexually assaulted that lady, man.
And not 10 seconds later, somebody chest checks me, and I ram my shoulder blade directly into her nose.
Nice.
And bloody nose.
Nice.
And she starts crying and walks away.
So Will's a woman abuser.
That's what we discovered.
And I was like, I look at JT, I was like, this is your fault.
This is all you're happening. Why would you do this? Yeah.
I felt so bad.
And that's probably where we should end it. Let's
Yeah.
get loud out there.
We'll end it on that note where we
my
discovered
like-
that Will is an abuser.
Yeah, my dad's
Comment, subscribe, share with your family, burn a DVD, send it to your granny, write a postcard, write the URL on the postcard, fax it to
The Postmaster General.
Postmaster General.
a surgeon general.
He says a lot of things cause cancer in California.
Do a door-to-door campaign. That's it.